Hey everyone, before I get started, I just want to remind you that if you like my content, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and then join the Militiaman and Crew Patreon community by clicking the link in the caption. Hey, good afternoon everybody. It is Monday evening and it is a beautiful day. I hope everybody's having a good summer because I think it's going to be a great summer and it's going to just keep getting hotter. But the point I'm getting at is I think Iraq's pretty hot right now. I think Al-Sudani is one of the guys that people are paying attention to because he's, I don't know, he's kind of kicking butt and taking names. And he's still talking to people, Qatar, all kinds of different countries, because everybody's got an interest, and because this development road project is going to provide a lot of opportunities for a lot of different people, a lot of the region, and I think the world's basically finally realized how far along he is and what his expectations are, and obviously he's even taken it to the next limit. Meaning that if you're not producing, you're going to get cut off. Yeah, all those types of things. So I would say that we're going to have to see. You want in? Okay. Let's see if we can allow Miss Ophelia. Oh, okay. Anyway, so give her a couple of minutes. But hey, the good part is that Sudani is just knocking it out of the park, and she's. Oh, okay, got it. Back to work. Sudani has basically been dealing with his Ministerial Council of Economy. I think everybody should know by now that the Ministerial Council of Economy is loaded with the highest and brightest cabinet members, etc., and more that Al-Sudani's gathered together. And they basically pretty much mean business when they communicate. And the Ministerial Council had they're making decisions, okay? And those decisions are going to be a reflection of Al-Sudani's goals and his achievements. And so this article today is called "The Ministerial Council of Economy, headed by Al-Sudani, who approves the adoption of a clear tax mechanism." So basically what this tax mechanism is likely to be is a benefit to investors that coming into Iraq. But the whole idea of him and what he's doing is going to be part of the point tonight, and the circumstances that we're going to see. Al-Sudani is basically setting that stage for the development road project to begin and start up. It's basically starting up on fire. It's going to be great. So it says the decisions related to the economic reality were followed up on, and the reform aspects included in the government program were implemented. So they basically said that the things that they said they were going to do, they did. That's great, right? So there's a little bit more, but then Sudani goes on to explain the government has provided the private sector with great supportive opportunities and has worked to empower it and launch its projects. It is closely following up on everything that's required to continue the pace of the growth, and supportive decisions will not be directed towards benefiting groups that live on certain outlets, probably like the cash. We'll find out about that, the dollar, without providing a contribution or returns to the country. So he's basically pointing fingers at about 1,200 companies, if I'm not mistaken. Doesn't say it in this article, but that's, I think if you've been paying attention, you're going to realize that there's a lot of money exchangers out there. They're going to get the pinch, and they're even threatening to go on strike, but we're not going to get to that just yet. The council has followed up on issues of taxes due on companies and ways to organize them, and they approved. It says the adoption of clear mechanisms for the tax, in addition to approving the work to separate real operating factories from fictitious factories, and audit the numbers and tables presented in their reports, and to adopt an economic vision that supports the export of factory products and the expansion of products or production. Look, so basically if there's realized that there was people on the dole getting salaries that weren't real, so they had to cut that out, and now they're even talking about fictitious factories that weren't doing anything. So he's cutting all that graft out. So you're probably going to hear some blowback. You're going to hear people complaining, and if all of a sudden you have 1,200 companies all doing the same thing, soaking the country and soaking the citizens, and not doing anything for the benefit of the country, Al-Sudani is going after them, and they have a time frame for that, and that's some of the things that we're going to talk about tonight. So they go on to say that the formation of a technical committee from the sectoral bodies in the ministries of oil and trade, in addition to the Council of Ministers, advisors, in order to regulate roles and resolve loose ends. So he's rallying the troops, getting everybody ready, and basically is setting another meeting similarly for the MCOA within a week. So they're going to probably have even more follow-up. This was a follow-up, so a follow-up to the follow-up, probably so. Basically, the implementation of reforms is an ongoing process. We all know that. Sudani's focusing in on value taxation wise with a mechanism. And so they're improving their production facilities, weeding out the non-productive and even fake factories that are going in his way. They're going to make this place a little bit more efficient, and efficiency is a big key, is a big component. They don't need to drag on in the reforms at this stage. They don't need to have a drag on the reforms. That means to me that the way I view it is that he's getting rid of those fictitious companies and the fake. So it's positive, because why spend time and energy on something that's not benefiting anybody? It's a good thing. He goes on to say with it, well, in my view, was the taxation incentives will likely help in that regard, because if there's taxation incentives for the investors, which is a common practice, he should do well. So I'm looking forward to what he keeps doing. The guy just keeps doing more and more. It's great. So the dollar's flight does not threaten the dinar. This is Al-Sudani's advisor is dispelling fears. The dollar system is a thing of the past. So Al-Sudani's advisor dispels the people's fears. So Prime Minister the advisor, Mohammed Saleh, when Saleh and al-Nasiri talk, everybody should pay attention to what these two guys, they've been around with many different prime ministers, but this prime minister, he kept them, and obviously the results and the achievements that they've pulled off since Al-Sudani's been the prime minister has been nothing short of amazing. Saleh explains to the news agency that the fixed exchange rate system in Iraq, based on an international reserves base that is the highest in the history of Iraq. So we've been over this, but the reason why I'm saying it again is because he's reiterating it again today. Okay, Iraq and its monetary policy as foreign currency covers more than 100% of the total currency currently issued. Okay, so he's saying it's even the trillions that they have enough reserves to do that. So in other words, if they change the exchange rate to something that's even more strong, effectively, that reflects the true fundamentals of the country, he shouldn't have any problem. Their model that they use is as stable, it's secure, and it's has very little inflation. Okay, so they've been successful doing this model that they're underway with. Okay, they go on to say that the strength of the official central exchange market, the exchange rate of the dollar to the dinar in the parallel market today in the country, does not constitute any relative importance in influencing the stability of the general price level. That's a big statement, which has become stable in its components and trends due to the influence of the official exchange rate currently dominating the financing of foreign trade, imports, and amounting to about 1,320 dinars per dollar, which is a stable trend for exchange rate, and around the stable external value of the dinar revolves, which is embodied by the state of stability, and relative prices of goods and services to a large extent, and the annual inflation in the country does not exceed 3%. So what I said, that's a paragraph right there that supports what I just said. They're basically stating the value of the foreign assets exceeds $100 billion. I think you guys, if you really dig into that. Collectively, a lot of countries don't have that, but Iraq has it. It goes on to say that Sudani's financial advisor, which is Saleh we're talking about, he says that the decline of the dollarization phenomenon in domestic transactions, especially contracts, obligations, and payments inside the country since last year, and its legal prohibition, the parallel market exchange rate has become such that its general effects today form a narrow economic scope of prohibited transactions, so they're illegal, practiced by informal markets at a rate of about 10% of the total supply and demand in transactions in the currency. So basically, what is he telling you? He's telling you that the parallel market, like I've been saying for a long time, probably over a year or more, is, once they change the value of their exchange rate, that 10% is going to be insignificant, and they're going to cry about it, and that's what you're going to talk about tonight. They're not probably happy about their cash cows going away, because that's what some of these people have been doing. They don't care about their citizens and brothers. They're just thinking about making for themselves and making a profit. They're not looking at advancing, or they're not looking at not working within the law and helping their fellow citizens. So I would think that the country should be looking at those people as kind of a pariah, if you will. But that's just me. They can do what they want to do. Saleh stressed that the stability of the exchange rate of the dinar to the dollar that the country is witnessing, even in the secondary markets above, is a real and solid stability. So it's real and solid stability presently, even at 1320 at the moment, right? They're stating that they've got a way, their mechanism that they use can support far more value because they have that 100+ billion that they can adjust accordingly and use the same model into the future. It's not stating that they're going to go international at 1320. It's just stating that they've got that model that they're using to keep the inflation down and to be able to facilitate trade with all the things that Saleh's been talking about. So anyway, it's derived from the strength of the impact of the price and quantity factors of the monetary and financial policies, that the integration in imposing overall price stability in the country and containing the inflationary expectations that were caused by the forces of the parallel exchange market during the past years. So there's basically supporting what I just said. They go on to say the secondary irregular market, irregular being probably illegal, due to the freedom of external transfer, is under the influence of the official exchange rate, whose operations are constantly expanding in favor of dealing at the fixed official exchange rate. My view on this is I think that when they say whose operations are constantly expanding in favor of dealing at the fixed official exchange rate, is an argument suggesting that instead of being a floating currency or just a fixed currency or even a managed float system, they're leaning towards now potentially a fixed official exchange rate for some time. And I reflect this in my room, and I have some thoughts on it. But the reason why I bring it up is because Iraq's exchange rate, if they have it strong, stable, and fixed for a period of, let's say a couple of years, 3, 4 years, 2, okay, I don't know. It's beyond my pay grade. But the part is that pricing for all the materials needs to be stable. And that's going to be a key component. I mean, if you were to all of a sudden have fluctuations in the marketplace that, are jumping 5-10 cents, a day or anything like that, could be hard to manage for the people in construction. So if they keep the pricing as stable as possible, it's going to be a lot easier for contractors, private sector, to be able to manage their own budgets, which they have. I mean, the country has a rough enough time on their own, and they have to get that sorted. But the bottom line is that we haven't seen Saleh come out as much as he has in the history that I've been involved, and I think that goes back to 2008 to 2010, that I've never seen Saleh come out with so much support in efforts of saying that we're strong with our reserves, we're strong with low inflation, we're strong with stability, we're strong with security. So all of these things are coming at a time when Saleh is knocking out of the park Saleh. Al-Sudani is knocking it out of the park, and he's rallied the world around him for the Development Road Project. Keep it in mind, a lot of this stuff, if you guys want to follow it up in patreon.com /militiaman and crew, everybody's welcome to come in and check us out. And you can look this stuff up. It's quite easy. A lot of people are starting to get the picture and coming in and doing that and using this data because it's actually supports your investment. And if you're invested in the Iraqi dinar right now and or other currencies, I think that the model that Iraq is using is going to be showcased to probably not just be with Iraq, because it has to do with what's going on in the world in global terms. And global terms is artificial intelligence, and artificial intelligence in government. That's e-government. That's the digital transformation. And if you guys aren't seeing it, you're missing the boat. Because I honestly didn't quite grasp how long they've been working with this AI stuff. In the Middle East, in Northern Africa, in Asia, around the world, United States, it's something that's just not going to go away. And keep in mind too that Turkey probably knows it, and one of the things that Turkey has is water, and Iraq needs water. And some of the new systems that are in play, believe it or not, are going to need water, and not just agricultural. Okay, so energy, water, food is going to be important for Iraq to have plenty of it, because this construction project, the reconstruction of a country, is going to take a lot of effort. It's going to take a lot of money. It's going to take a lot of investment, and it's going to have a lot of people involved in it, a lot of employment. And what comes with that is food and entertainment, for instance, and social networks. Okay, so you're going to see tonight that we have a little bit of information that's talking about some big players in the world. But anyway, the most prominent, this is a reminder article, okay? We go back in time just a little bit, like I like to do, because it's so very important to remind ourselves of some things that we've been through and we don't quite always remember them. Time goes on like that. So it says the most prominent of which the decision of the central bank, the 3 reasons behind the rise of the dollar against the Iraqi dinar. This is dated the 4th of July. And basically what it's saying is a financial expert, former central bank director, Mohammed Dafar, revealed Thursday 3 reasons why the dollar against the Iraqi dinar rose recently. And he has that going on. But what is he actually talking about? He says, according to the banks issued Al-Rafadain, Al-Rashid, Iraqi trade banks and exchange companies currently operating at airports Class A and B. Companies were directed, quote, in order to ensure the travelers receive the dollar in cash and to avoid the passage of exchange companies by improper transactions, it was decided to set July 14th, 2024 as the final date to start the mechanism of granting dollars to passengers exclusively at airports. I would highly recommend you guys. I republished it in Patreon. Take a look at it. It gives support to some of the stuff that you're going to see on the internet lately. In Patreon, probably other sites, people have talked about that date because of this article and another one. So it's interesting, and I have to give some kudos to Pompey Peter, because he was diligent about knowing that he remembered this. And then today, fortunately, we have some outside people outside my room, effectively, that actually found more than we found. And so it was kind of quite nice to know that Pompey was diligent, stuck with it, and it resonated around the internet a little bit. So it's good. Basically, exclusively at airports, and those 1,200 companies I think that I mentioned are going to probably be on strike and have a rude awakening if they're not careful. Exchange companies announce a general strike in all of Iraqi governance. Right? The Coordination Committee for Exchange Companies Demonstrations announced a general strike in the capital of Baghdad, and they're saying that they're going to entering into this auction from they're going to refrain from entering the auction from next Wednesday, and corresponding at the 7/10, which couple days, 7/10/2024 until further notice for all governance. So from that point on, they're going to refrain from the dollar auctions. Okay, right on. I think that's fascinating. So anyway, back to just a sidebar. We'll get back to that too. But the sidebar, you guys realize that social media is prevalent. You see everybody sitting around on their phones. They're Google searching for Amazon products. They're Google searching for all kinds of different companies' products and advertising and all those different things. I mean, whatever they need to buy, they do a lot of times on their phones while they're traveling, all that stuff. But the bottom line is we have Google and Facebook. Okay, they're going to have traffic passing through Iraq. And they have an article called Google and Facebook Passes Through Iraq. How does it work? And so they go on to say that the Ministry of Communications today, Google and Facebook are passing their capacities through the Iraqi territory, confirming that this is happening for the first time, and while indicating that the transit projects will provide financial returns to the country. And I don't doubt that for a minute. The ministry has made great strides in strengthening Iraq's geographical position in the matter of transit and passing communications traffic, internet capacities across Iraqi territory. So that's really kind of a big deal, you guys. Okay, so it goes on to say the communications signed a new contract a few months ago on this travel transit, and but it says it's transit level, not by sea, but by land. So they're doing it across the land and through the development road project and the process that it's going to go through from the Port of Fao to Turkey and on into Europe. So it says this line passes through the south, then the center, reaching the Kurdistan region and exits Turkey and connects Asia to Europe via Iraq. It says here that noting that Iraq's geographical location and its exploitation in international communications traffic and its return to the International Telecommunication Union in a prestigious manner will provide financial returns. In addition to that fact, many international companies will pass their capacities through the Iraqi territory. They go on to say 1 tera worth of information has been exceeded in passing international communications through Iraq, confirming that Iraq possesses a safe, attractive, and reliable path for transit for communications. Look, communications are a very big deal to secure. A reliable communication infrastructure is a mainstay in the international market arena, as far as I'm concerned. Iraq has 60% of their population is youth. I mean, they have about 42, 43 million people. So if you get 60% of their youth using social media, and you realize that people do it hours and hours a day, there can be a lot of advertising done. And so Google, Facebook realize it and are probably going to tap that keg big time. And there's a lot of money involved in advertising. And Google and Facebook know it, very much so. I got some snippets. One, Facebook has revolutionized the way people connect and communicate. It's not just a social media platform. It is a global hub for over 2.8 billion monthly active users that exchange ideas, share life moments, engage with content from every corner of the world. Big statement. The company changes. This is going to be about Google. The company changes its service and makes money on the ads it sells on its search engine. Google is the most dominant search engine in the world. While it's accessible for free, their main income source is what? Advertising, which makes up the bulk of their revenue. That deal's done today. And well, signed a couple months ago, but I think they just went public with it today. So that's a pretty big deal, you guys. Think about the revenue stream. I mean, all the tourists, you guys, I don't know if just because they got 40 million people, think about all the people that come to do all the religious tourism through Iraq. They're going to be staying at hotels. They're going to be traveling the development road project. They come in to see all the agriculture. They're going to come in and see the marshes. They're going to come in to see all the historic sites. The United States has been giving back artifacts, ancient artifacts. The tourism is going to be it's going to be immense. So it's all good. Sudanese, next article, reforms Reform requires strong decisions, and it's time to reconsider previous policies. So Sudani is talking today. The reform requires strong and correct decisions directed to reconsider some previous economic decisions and policies, something we touched on earlier on. He says that the Ministerial Council of Economy is to follow up on these decisions that are related to the economic reality and the implementation of reform aspects included in the government's program. So they want to keep following up. Goes on a little further and says the government's provided the private sector with great supporting opportunities, like we mentioned. They work to empower it and launch its projects, and it is strictly following up everything that is required to continue the pace of growth, and its supporting decisions will not be directed towards the benefit of groups that live on certain outlets. They're again just reiterating the same thing, basically telling them to get ready, we're not deviating, and if you're not playing by the rules, you're going to be left behind. The Minister of Commerce, okay, and his counterpart out of Qatar, he's had final minutes on the 7th session of the Iraqi-Qatari Committee. These guys are basically talking about the investment between Iraq and the two countries constitutes a fundamental access of cooperation, and we strive to create an attractive investment environment that enhances economic and partnership and achieve common interests. And signing the draft agreement to encourage and protect investment between Iraq and Qatar is important towards enhancing mutual investments. It says inviting Qatari companies and businessmen to invest in Iraq, especially in projects related to the Development Road Project, Development Path. Okay, who are they? Well, there was meetings that were intensive exchange on views and ways to enhance and intensify the second cooperation, included the joint minutes in the field of trade, industry, investment, free zones, the private sector, energy, finance, taxation, customs, transportation, civil aviation, communications. Okay, and it keeps going. Okay, so they have so much at stake at this that who's going to be involved? The youth, social care, justice, all of them, all of those items. There's so many of them. So that's a major step, because what are they doing? They're opening up to the international world. So anyway, there's more to this story when it comes to what kind of an important role these electronic traveler platforms are going to take. Why is the central bank dealing with it? Well, here it says that the important role played by its segment in public of exchange companies in Iraq, which represents typically the backbone of an economy in the country and its flowing artery in supporting our national economy and its institutions in turning its wheel, and our future aspiration to expand these tasks in meeting the needs of these citizens for all financial services. And they say provided in developed countries and neighboring countries, and to simplify processes and procedures for the citizens and especially travelers. For what? To obtain the dollar at the official rate, whatever that may be, and through the personal phone. They can do it through their phone. We call on the central bank to begin implementing a mechanism that is appropriate to reality and applicability, which is this electronic platform for travelers that conforms to modern standards and is appropriate to international and local requirements. Basically, what are they saying? They want something that ensures that any citizen who wants to travel and obtain the dollar at the official price by uploading his documents to his personal phone and specifying the place of residence, so that the dollar will be delivered to him from the nearest point to his place of residence through companies spread throughout Iraq, and from visiting him just one short trip to the company's headquarters. Weird translation, but hey, says by applying the mechanism, companies and the central bank will turn the page on what took time and effort and devote themselves to performing other tasks and providing modern products that suit the current development, serve the citizens, and support the financial banking sector. Another important goal will also be achieved by cutting off the way for speculators. Remember that? I told you we're going to get to the bottom of it. So they're going to cut off the way for speculators with people's lives who are fishing in troubled waters. It says we've noticed that those people that are fishing in troubled waters, reject economic and financial stability by rejecting any draft project that conforms to the law and serves the country. Therefore, we call on all responsible parties to cooperate jointly with public of exchange companies to begin implementing this mechanism in the service of our dear country and our honorable people. So remember, they got a whole bunch of people out there that are going to go on strike, right? For what? To go against what I just read. That's not good. Not necessarily good for what we're looking for, or bad for what we're looking for. It's just pointing out that there's a lot of people that got some blowback, and if you're labeled as in that country and you get some negative press, it's going to be tough on you. So in my conclusion tonight, what do we have? A reminder number 2. Central bank restricts dollar grants to passengers at airports. And this was starting from July 14th. Again, that's the article. When did it come out? It came out on the 1st of July. Okay, and where are we now? All right. It says the Central Bank of Iraq decided to grant dollars to passengers exclusively at airports starting from July 14th. So they basically cut out all those money exchangers, and they have a methodology that I just described at that point in time. But check this one out. This is all from them, not from me. The document confirms that the exchange company should transfer their dealings to one of the above-mentioned banks no later than July 11th, 2024. Now, what time are they going to go on strike? The 10th. Okay? 11/7/2024. So that's the way they write it. It's July 11th. So anyway, you guys, I hope you guys enjoyed my presentation today for you. I think Iraq, I think Al-Sudani, I think his advisors, Al-Nusri, have been very vocal. Saleh's been very vocal. I just expect to see that the Ministerial Council of Economics, we saw that. We know that Al-Alaq is in those meetings. We know that the Ministry of Planning, all the trade ministers, everybody's in those meetings, and they're having another one within a week. And they're all talking about follow-up and implementation. So let's see if Al-Alaq follows up with what he has to say when it comes time to stop the dollar transactions in this auction. Because if that's what he's going to do, there's probably some big things that are going to happen. Let's hope for it anyway. But so thank you guys. If you like our message, hit the like button, hit some subscribe, and of course, please, if you have the opportunity to hit that Venmo, PayPal, or Zelle to help keep the content rolling, we always appreciate that. Thank you very much. Once again, guys, don't forget to hit that like button if you like this content, subscribe to the channel, or join us at the Militia Man and Crew Patreon community for even more exclusive content. You can also donate to this channel by hitting the links in the banner to help keep this page up and running. Your generous support is greatly appreciated, as always. Much, much appreciated. Thank you so much, and have a great day.